This is Bob Jenkins, along with Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, Dr. Jerry Punch, and John Kernan, and we are live at Talladega Superspeedway. But unfortunately, there is no racing action, but just a lot of hard rain. As a matter of fact, about 30 seconds ago, it started to rain very hard again. At least there are no thunderstorms in the area. There's a few thunder boomers, but not nearly what we had about an hour ago when severe lightning moved over Talladega Superspeedway. So the Winston 500 is under a rain delay. It's going to be quite some time before we can get this race in, if we can get it in at all. We'll keep our fingers crossed. In the meantime, let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch, who's with one of the legends we mentioned in the open of our show. Jerry?
Indeed, I'm with Cale Yarborough, one of the legends, one of the guys that I grew up watching the race, and boy, what a great one he was and still is as a car owner now. And his car sits 10th on the starting grid with Lake Speed aboard, and a tremendous job in qualifying. J.E. Beard and the guys that put a strong engine in the car. But Cale, watching this deluge of water as we stand here in the garage reminds me of one of your initial investments when you got out of racing. Tell me, you were going to be a turkey farmer, right?
Well, this was before I got into racing good. This was right after I got married, and I was at a National Guard meeting, and Betty Joe called me and said the turkeys are dying. I had 5,000 turkeys, and it was raining so hard, and this reminds me of it. I got out of the Guard meeting and I went home. I had dead turkeys as far as you could see. They all stood there looking up to see where the water was coming from and drowned, put me out of the turkey business right then. And this reminds me of it.
5,000 pretty dumb turkeys, huh? Well, at least you got back into racing and pretty well. It's now you're involved not only in the car ownership with your race car, but you got a lot of other businesses involved, the dealerships and the restaurants. And by the way, Benny Parsons helps your Hardee's restaurant a lot down in Florence when he goes by. Benny and I always go by for a couple of sausage biscuits in the morning. But the race car, the team is really seeming to come together now. Lake Speed's doing a good job for you.
Well, Lake is. I think I was lucky to get Lake, and things are coming together. You know, I got a good racing team, and this Pontiac runs good, and then bad luck happens, and you know, we want to do good so bad. We got a good sponsor, Phillips 66, and we want to do good for them. And I think Lake coming aboard and has given the team a lot of boost. They like Lake. They get along good with him. Lake's a good, heady, knowledgeable driver, and we just need a little bit of luck, and we can put this number 66 in winner's circle, I think.
Well, after qualifying in the top 10 here, certainly that's a good bet. Now, coming up in May, are you involved in that Legends race they're going to have up in Charlotte in May? You going to get back in and put the helmet on one more time?
I'm going to do it one more time. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Get to race with some guys that I raced with in my early days when my career first got started. And I feel like, you know, it's not going to be something that we're going to get out there and try to kill each other in, I don't think, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
See, now looking at you stayed in pretty good shape. You'd have no trouble getting in the car, but we've got a guy named Parsons that may not get in the window. Do you think, Benny?
Hey, Jerry, cut me some slack there, will you?
You know, I'm not sure Benny can get in the window. They're going to pry it open for him, though.
And the bad thing about it is we can't alter these cars, so I don't know what Benny's going to do. He's going to have to stay away from those Hardee's for a week or two, I guarantee you that.
I think he's got a margarine sponsor, and they're going to butter him up real good and sort of shove him in and get him in the window. But, Cale, thanks for joining us down here. And guys, it is raining even harder. Maybe it's sort of what they call a cleaning out shower because the turkeys are all gone. And just being Cale.
Turkey killing shower.
Turkey killing shower. And we're standing here in the garage area at Talladega. Bob?
Okay. Hey, Jenkins, you turkey, get back in here.
I'll tell you what, I've heard of duck drowners, but never turkey killers. But we're having one of those right now. It is really coming down. Ned, you got a rain story for us?
Yeah, we were over in Bristol, Tennessee in 1965 in one of the races there, I guess the one they run in August. And it rained about halfway through that race. I mean, just really rained. And back then, some of us were using cool suits, and that certainly was the time that you needed to do it because it was on a Sunday afternoon. And I had a cool suit, and the way we did it, we put ice in an ice chest in the car, and then we had an electric fuel pump that pumped the ice water through a suit that I had on, and it really would cool you. Well, we were down for about an hour and a half because of the rain, and the heat melted the ice in my ice chest. And I learned that when I got back in the car, and I said, hey, guys, go get some ice right quick. Well, they looked everywhere, and the track had sold out of ice. There was no ice to be found anywhere. And I turned that thing on and started circulating that hot water through there. And I'll tell you, that was a tough situation. And so I didn't know whether to circulate the water, because most of the time if it's moving, it's a little bit better. But it was so hot inside that race car that I could hardly stand it. But I did win the race.
All right.
Happy ending.
Rather than a boiled potato, it was a boiled Ned that day.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I went to Daytona in 1963 to watch Speed Weeks. I was just a fan, not a participant. And they had a race, I think it's called American Challenge Race or something. Anyway, Paul Goldsmith was in the race in a 62 Le Mans. And he had windshield wipers on the car. And it started raining, Ned. And he turned the windshield wipers on. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life, because there was no downforce on the windshield wipers. As he would come off the second corner, the wipers would pull away from the windshield. The wind would pull the wipers away from the windshield. And he would go down the back straightaway with the wipers about a foot away from the windshield, just going back and forth, and they're a foot away from the windshield. But when we got to the corner, the wipers would pop back on the windshield and would clean it. But down the straightaway, they're at a foot away from the windshield, just flopping away.
You know, I ran windshield wipers on my dirt cars the last few years that I raced, but we had to put a lot of extra springs in them to keep it from doing just what you were saying, but that helped it.
Well, we do have a rain situation here. You can see how hard it's raining, and there is water puddled everywhere around Talladega Superspeedway. So the rain delay continues here. Let's hope that there is a lot better weather tonight for ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. You've heard of the Griffies, but that's not all the Mariners have going for them. Edgar Martinez in action tonight as the Yankees battle the Mariners. Exclusive national coverage tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. We'll be back with more updates from Talladega Superspeedway, where the Winston 500 has been rain delayed.